Very diplomatic, Steve. Nothing new for you to hear there, Ian, in many ways. What do you make of, as Steve Bold referred to, the stick or the criticism that Arsene Wenger gets from afar? What do you make of it?
Oh, of course, you know, from his side, you know, work with Wenger for such a long time, he knows the man quite a lot. But as I know Arsene, he's a person who loves the game. He's hungry to win things. He sacrifices himself for the players and for the club. But at the moment, the thing is hard for him, but he's trying the best way he can to handle all the pressure, try to get out the best of his players. But at some point, you know, all the time the pressure is on him.
Yeah.
But listen, let's raise a question about what the players can bring back to him.
Exactly.
Because he trusts on them as well. You know, if I have somebody in any position I would be in the club, if I have somebody who supports me when everyone is under pressure, just pointing one side,
yeah.
But what about the others?
Yeah.
It's about somebody to stand up and hold the pressure for somebody who believes on them, for the manager.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, all the question from everyone in the, you know, in the media and talk about it's time for him to go, it's time for him to stay, he's the best manager, or he lost the appetite. I think it's not about this, it's about the moment all the people there, especially in the club, support him as long as, you know, he stay in the club. You know?
I tell you what, when you think of it, you think of the silence upstairs with the pressure that he's taken in the past, Arsene Wenger. He doesn't get a lot of backing from the people upstairs. I think that the players, for me, and I've said it and I'm not afraid to say it, that they've let him down on many occasions in respects of the faith that he's got in them. I don't think they've repaid him with that, and we've seen that in certain results. And I like the Boldy there, I still believe that he has the hunger, but I'm not sure if he can now get that message across to the players, for the players to have the hunger. And this is why, when I mentioned earlier the inconsistency, if they had the hunger, they wouldn't play so many games so inconsistently. So you don't know. Like even now, Jeff, we got the game on Sunday. You know what I mean? There's a time, especially in his times, you know that, you know, we're going to beat them. We're going to, you know, we're going to beat them because we're better than them. You can't say that about Arsenal because you don't know what Arsenal are turning up.
Well, maybe. I mean, Gilberto alluded to earlier. Maybe now the players just aren't as good as they used to be at Arsenal.
Yeah, but you said
since they moved from Highbury and into the Emirates, and they said there would be a shortage of money for a while.
Yeah.
You scored Arsenal's first competitive goal in the Emirates, and there's not been much to cheer about at that stadium since. Obviously, they've won FA Cups.
Yeah, but the players are good enough, Jeff. They've got players that are good enough. I think that we've got players that are not...
If the players are good enough...
I don't think they're performing to the best that they can at this particular time, because when you look at the team on paper, it's a very good team on paper. I just think that they're underperforming.
But they have also, you know, for players' point of view, they have, you know, to question themselves and ask themselves all the time, listen, the situation is not good, but if you don't do something, it could be worse. Let's say, you know, if at some point they decide, Arsene decide to leave and the club decide it's time for him to go, who's come next for the players?
Yeah.
You stay in the club as well, if they don't do something different for themselves and for the club. It's time for them to stand up and fight.
But at the end of the day, it's the manager's job to get the best out of the players.
Yeah,
so if you're saying those players are good enough and they're not operating to the level that they should do or can do, the buck stops with the manager.
Yeah, but we know that Arsene Wenger's style of management, Jeff, he's not going to come in and scream and shout at players. I never, ever saw him do that. And then you had the dressing room that Gilberto was in, and even the dressing room that I was in before, that he managed. He didn't need to do that because it was self-motivation dressing rooms that wanted to win and wanted to work hard for a manager that we respected and wanted to play well for. He's not changed. He's not changed. The people he's working with have changed. I think they've taken his kindness for weakness. That's what I've always said.
No, it's like that, you know. He's not going to shout on people on the training ground, but, you know, he demands, you know, everyone to be responsible, and we demand the best from the players. But I know as a player, you must have something, you know, the hunger to perform well in the training session. I remember, you know, see our time there, you know, when the players, they always want something more.
Yeah.
They demand, you know, they demand from the coach, hey, what's the next?
Yeah.
If they do some challenge, what's the next? You know, I want something more because I want to fight, I want to be a winner, I want to get trophies. Because this, you know, you challenge yourself. And I remember when many times Jens Lehmann cheese and cherry for the challenge. Hey, come on, what's happened with you in the last game? You didn't score a goal, what happened? And sometime with Patrick Vieira, they look at Jens Lehmann, what he's talking about, you know? But it's about, you know, somebody, because everyone has this kind of winning mentality. Yeah. We want to win the game.
Well, maybe it's worse what you're saying. Maybe if you're saying the players are good enough, they just don't have the character and they don't have the discipline.
Well, like I said, when you've got a manager that is not going to... Because we've seen Arsene Wenger come out of dressing rooms when they've lost and poor displays in respects of games and how they've lost the game. And he'll come out and he won't say anything about the players, which is not something that I'm saying, oh, he's got to come out and ball them out. But he won't have done that in the dressing room. But he will come out and he will say it was a refereeing decision or an offside decision. Whatever it was, he'll do everything apart from lay any blame to the players. And then what happens is that they know that there's no accountability. So they know that it will blow over after a while. They'll probably win the next game against teams that they know they can beat, and then everybody kind of calms down on it and then they go again. And that is why they are inconsistent, because there's no accountability for them playing badly consistently or being as inconsistent as they are and getting away with it. They won't get away with that. If they were at another manager or they were at other clubs, they would not get away with it, because Arsene Wenger's the only manager who's like that.
You know, I do believe, you know, as you said, there is quality in the squad.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, if you see the moments, they are not comparable with, like City, for example,
not many
maybe some other teams.
Yeah.
But there is still quality. Yeah. It just depends how hungry they are to succeed, you know, to have to win things for the club. You know, I think this is the point for me, and for them sometimes to question the teammates. Hey, come on, what's happening with you? You know? Absolutely right. It's sometimes, you know, one player has to demand from the other. You know, and this is sometimes, you know. It's hard for me to say because I'm not here in the country and in the club to say that it's lack of leadership or what's happened. Yes.
But you suspect?
Well, it's... listen, sometimes the board talks on the pitch. Yes. You know, in some reactions they've got, make you think there is a lack of leadership in the players. When things go wrong, somebody stand up, hey, come on, we have to take the responsibility. Or somebody else stand up, listen, I take the responsibility. It's like when, for example, when you play the game, things doesn't work as you expect. But then you try something, you hard, you fight, you run, you get the yellow card, whatever. You know,
reaction. Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to.
Absolutely.